Alright, Catanians, we're attempting to do a little bit of a throwback to early on in my Catan career, streaming, and even before streaming, just straight up YouTube gameplay. This is what I used to do. I used to record gameplays on my iPhone X, which I still have 6 years later. So this is going to be a First Island Cities and Nights match on Catan Universe. It's going to get cut short. Let me put that disclaimer out there. Because Catan Universe still be bugging, still having issues. Still the servers are not quite where they need to be. But that is what I want to highlight in this video, which you will see towards the end of it. But let's focus on the gameplay for now. So I start out on the 3-wheat, 8-wheat, 4-ore, building not really necessarily to the wood port, but just going down, maybe deciding on doubling down on 4-ore, doubling down on 8-wheat. Although you see that pink gets a wonderful city on the 8-wood, 5-sheep, 10-sheep, and green gets a great city on the 6-sheep, 10-sheep, 9-wheat. Now red, I thought, was going to maybe take 5, 6, 11, but since they didn't have wheat, they decided to touch on the 3-wheat, so they have a weak wheat, which I never like to do in Cities and Nights. Just to have, you can get your first night activated almost guaranteed, right? But then on, you're going to be trying to get some lucky threes throughout the game, or if anybody trades with you, because in auto match, people sometimes don't want to trade with you at all, so you kind of are missing out there. So early on, barbarians are coming in hot, and I'm like telling them in the game chat, trying to get at them to slow it on down, because I need to activate my knight. I just need a 3 or an 8. You think an 8 would be good, but sometimes early on in Catan Universe, people have beat to death the dice statistics argument over and over and over. But if I could just get an 8, get the 9 active, I'm good. Then I can continue to produce that cloth and build up to the maybe yellow metropolis, because I'm kind of in a battle, 3-way battle between me, pink, and green for the yellow metropolis, but I'm going to keep going as much as I can. Of course, I don't have a single cloth yet, so pink has the advantage so far with the early 10 in this game, actually very first dice roll of the match. Red gets their knight activated because they start out on or wheat sheep. That is a very beginner strategy, just have your city start on the or wheat sheep. Ignore that reminder. Maybe tomorrow. Coming up, something. But anyways, there goes the 3, so I get the wheat there. And I chose to build the second knight early on. I almost never do that, but I thought I should do that because if there's going to be a lot of 7s, there's going to be a lot of robber getting shut down. And I share the 5 sheet, which is very shut downable, and the 6 sheet, which is also very targetable. So I will go ahead and go for 2 knights. That way I can do more bouncing. Because I think for me, building on a or wheat sheep strategy and a setup, you're going to want to have multiple knights so you can bounce around and maybe get lucky, steal brick and wood from the other players that I do not produce. So that was my line of thinking there. Then right here, I roll a spicy 8. So I could have activated my other knight to win Defender Catan victory point on first Barbarian Invasion, but I decided not to. I decided to go for the progress card. Yes, each of my opponents also get a progress card from the color stack of their choice, as we get a fantasy update there. But I said, why not get the progress card early on, and then after that, I can work on defender points. Now, there's 2 schools of camp. One is just get as many defender points as you possibly can. It could change the tide of the game in the end, which is true. However, I am more in the camp of just get the first progress card from the first invasion of barbarians, because that way you can kind of get out of the gate running, get out of the gate and do something. If you draw a decent progress card that is helpful for early game development, whether it be a road building, a resource monopoly, maybe a bishop, maybe a wedding even, you let everybody else jump out ahead of you by 1 victory point if it's not going to take too long for them to do so. And then you hit the wedding, everybody gives you 2 cards of their choice. So you have some options there. And of course, Alchemist would also be huge early on. Crane, kind of, but not really. Trade Monopoly is also pretty good early on. So that's the line of thinking there in the other camp when it comes to Defender of Catan, or just tying with everybody, or you kind of hope that maybe one person doesn't contribute and maybe they burn a city. So there's that. And then red rolls an 11. I get my first coin. I get another ore, and I'm thinking if I can just get a couple more 4s and maybe hit on these 8 so I can build the city, reactivate my knight, and then I'm just really off to the races. Because after that, I'm going to want to maybe try for the cutoff against green. Because you see green drop the road to the 612. And if I could beat green to the 612 spot, put a city on there, I'm kind of guaranteed to either get the yellow metropolis, A, or B, be able to steal it. And I had to crop the screen down here just a little bit because I had some notifications coming in that you all cannot be privy to. And then you see red drops a settlement, a second settlement on the 9 sheep. So they have a powerhouse 9 there. Going to get 3 sheep and a cloth every time a 9 gets rolled. Plus they have the 510 brick. And although pink is touching the brick, red has most of the brick control. So they're going to be the go-to brickster, the go-to brick guy, go-to brick lady for trades later on. And you'll see I will try to get a brick from them later on this match. Now, pink does have the sheep port, which is highly advantageous over myself and green's sheep setup with the cities. So you're going to want to wonder, maybe I should have built on the 810, but I would have missed out on the ore perhaps had I placed there first and then the placement's gone differently. I may not have got that 5, 6, 11 spot that I was looking for to touch on the ore. And then you saw pink just use the bishop there. That's fine because I will activate the knight and I will be prepared. There's blue scheme improvements level 1. Now I'm prepared to chase with a robber. Green get mad in the chat at pink. They said, okay, pink, and now they're going to kind of be aggressive towards pink with later on this match if they can. And then the 6 got shut down, and then the 6 got rolled. Just perfectly imperfect out here on Catan Universe, but I'm used to it. There goes the 8. I can have some patience here, right? So I get the wheat back. I can activate the other knight, which I'm going to look to do for bounce ability. Like I said, there goes a 5. So I get my first cloth. A little later than I would have expected, but I will take it nonetheless. And green still is not settled on the 612. So now I'm starting to think, can I work this out? Is there a possibility? Because I have the resource monopoly. Commercial harbor, that actually works out perfectly, even though I don't want to lose the cloth, because I'm trying to get to, level 1 and then level 2 early on, as early as possible. I'll take the wood, because if there is a possibility, or if I could get a second wood, I could actually resource mono the brick, but I would have to wager that red would have 2, but they only have 1 card currently, and that pink hasn't built a road yet, but they did build one to the ore port. I steal a brick from red. That was his only card. So now I just need to make another road, but I only steal a wheat from pink. So at this point, I know that green has wood. However, I'm not sure if there's another brick in anybody's hand. So I could try to trade to get a wood and then resource mono the 1 brick that could be out there, but I'm most certainly sure that it is not, because pink dropped the road to the ore port off the 10 sheep. So at this right here, I just decided to drop a road to the wood port at the 4 ore, because I'll double up on ore. That'll help me city faster. But I think that was kind of the fork in the road, the big decision. I maybe should have dropped the road to the 612 and tried to move my knight on the next turn to get it to block green out to save that spot for myself later on. And there goes another 6. So it's going to be sheep and a cloth. They did get a wood. However, they're trying to trade for brick. But because I stole red's brick, I'm pretty sure there's actually no brick in anybody's hand right now. None at all. Which is kind of unique at this point early on, because there were some 3s that got rolled. I felt like maybe there's only 1 3 so far, but green has only produced 1 brick so far, and they just need 1 more, and they just can't get it. And pink's going to come in with the 12, the random 12 that is useless, helpful to nobody. I was kind of hoping I would at least get production on pink's turn. That way on my turn, maybe they roll a 5 and I roll a 6, then all of a sudden I'll have 5 sheep in hand. I could 4 for 1 for the brick that I may need. There goes the 10. So this would have been a good opportunity to resource mono the brick, but I would have had to trade and receive 2 wood, which is going to be very unlikely at this point, because green is not going to trade away any road building materials, knowing that I'm so close to that 6-tool spot that they have been going for a little while now. So I'm going to try to just go for the brick instead. I offer the ore, which early on, especially thinking about someone getting a second city may not be the wisest choice, but I was like, I'm going to give this to red because 4s and 11s are not getting rolled super well. So I can bank on it taking a lot longer for them to get a city on the board. I know they have merged on sheep, but the sheep is currently shut down. So currently I'm 3 cards away from the road city plow. Now I try to go for the second brick because at this point, I know if I could get that second brick, I could resource mine on the wood because I'm pretty sure green has at least 2 wood. But neither pink, so pink would not give up the brick because they are looking to settle on the ore port, and that makes sense, even though I offered some trades. Luckily for me, green rolls the 7, has the burn cards. You saw the mad emoji. They're upset about it. They're feeling some type of way, and they burn 2 wood, which is highly interesting because they definitely want that settle spot. They're going to shut down me and pink on the 5, steal from pink because earlier they said in the game chat they have it out for pink. I'm sorry, red rolled that, and red did the shutdown. Now green rolls, but they don't produce anything off the 2, so they build yellow city improvements level 2, so they elected to keep their commodities over keeping the road building, settlement building materials. There goes another 6, green gets the wood right back, so he probably burned the wood because he's like, I'll just get it right back off the 6s, it'll be no problem. Pink with the wedding, thankfully I'm only at 3, and thankfully green is only at 3, because I don't want green to give away any wood that I may want to resource mono in just a little bit. So only red has to give 2 cards of their choice to pink with the wedding. There goes the inventor. Pink is going to give red coordinated 11s. So although they lose the 9, pink throws the 9 down into no man's land on the bottom left of the board, kind of near me, which I'm happy about because now I have an opportunity to build on the 4 or 9 wood, either that or the desert spot if I want to take the wood ports. So we have some options here. There goes the 8. And now I know there's a decent amount of wood in hand. I just got to get that second brick to make it possible. So I try to go an indirect route. I try to get the 5th sheep so I could 4-for-1 that for the brick and then just straight resource mono the wood. But you're going to see I barely cannot make it happen. I'm going to offer a wheat at first for the sheep. Then I'm just going to ask for the brick straight up. But because pink is trying to build that settlement, they are not giving that brick up whatsoever. So I try to offer wheat for sheep with my cloth as well, but the game is afoot. They know what I'm up to. They're not about to let this power play happen because this would be huge for me to secure the 6-12, block green out from it, and then I could just go to town on yellow city improvements in the later half of the game. I even offer 2 cloth for a sheep, which is the craziest thing you would ever see, but it's because if there's a big chance I'm going to lose out on Yellow Metro, at least give me the 6-12. Then from there I could continue to build out to the 4-9 desert and set up a longish road play, possibly later on. So I'll just resource mine on the wood because I don't even want to take a risk that green can get to the 6-12 before me. So I'll drop the settle on the wood port, and I was like, at this point, at least I can double up on 4 ore if they start rolling here. And wouldn't you know, a 6 gets rolled. So green gets another wood, another sheep, another cloth. So they got to be pretty close. Although the 7 and the resource model definitely knocked them back a couple pegs. Now they get the double wheat, so they are super close. Although I don't think they have it because they need brick and they're not on a port. So they can't 4-for-1 and still build the settlement, even with 9 cards, which is such a rip. When you have 9 cards, you feel like you should be able to get the settle out on the board, but when you can't, and you're over the 7 card limit for the robber, it is the worst feeling. One of the worst feelings in Catan, of course, besides burning your city. Keep that in mind. And green is doing decent with yellow city improvements. Pink, however, has green and yellow city improvements, so they are definitely doing well on that front. They're definitely ahead of everybody else in terms of city improvements, which is generally what you want because you generally will get more progress cards than your opponents. And you can use those to shut people down. But red actually has 3 progress cards right now. So they are definitely doing well on that front. So they would be the person to spy the most in the near future if someone did get a spy. No spy for me yet. I do have Warlord and Deserter. I do get the Defender of Catan. I elect to have both knights active instead of taking a progress card with everybody of our color choice. I go for the Defender. I'm like, let's get this going. Pink then has the Spy, but thankfully they target Red because Red was already at 5 victory points. They have Merchant. If you look at their setup, they're clustered around the 11s now, and just an 11 is a mega turn for them. Plus, they already had 3 progress cards. So Pink is going to target them, thankfully, instead of me, because that really would have set me back, losing Warlord or Deserter, honestly. Mainly Deserter, though. So there goes the 9. More double wheat for green. So I'm getting worried because at this point, because Barbarians just invaded, I can't move my knight because it got deactivated. So I have to take this turn to reactivate it, but then wait a whole nother turn for it to get back so I can maybe draw, because right now I could 4-4 the sheep for a brick, drop a road, but I can't build a knight right in that spot. And because I already have 2 level 2 knights, I can't even promote one because I don't have an ore and then use Desert on someone else's knight to place a 2nd level 1 knight back on the board on that 6-12 spot. So I was really just barely unable this turn to get to the 6-12 or even just block it and save it for myself for the near future, which is such a rip. So instead, I'm going to 4-for-1 the sheep. I was going to do it for the 3rd cloth, but I elected to do the paper because I'll just get a 3rd cloth pretty quickly here, right? On a 5 or 6. 5 is shut down right now, but you're going to see here in just a little bit. Okay, so there's a 3, so green just gets the brick straight up. So now I'm kind of out of luck completely on the 6-12 spot because they get the brick. I did build the paper Green City Improvement level 1, so you're going to see me get a progress card here in a couple turns. And it's going to be pretty clutch. And if I chose to go level 3 trade bonus, Yellow City Improvements, I would never have gotten that green progress card, or at least not at this point in the game, this point in the match. And I must concede defeat. I had an opportunity earlier maybe to drop a road and block that spot. If I didn't build another knight very early on, I could have definitely done that. But green will go ahead and get the 6-12 settle. They get the trade bonus on the same turn, so now it's definitely worrisome that they're going to get the Metropolis because Pink only has 5 sheep, 10 sheep for the cloth, and the 5 is shut down currently. And we don't want green getting too powerful. Of course, when they get on either 3-for-1 port, it's just going to be way more off to the races. Another huge 11 for red. Keep in mind, they still have merchant on sheep, so they have 3 sheep in addition to whatever they have in their hand, and they can port 2 of those for whatever they want. I'll roll a 3 myself, get another wheat, and I draw the road building, so that paper that I purchased, that I used to upgrade, netted me the road building a couple turns later, which is hugely clutch. Unfortunately, I was not able to get the 6-12, but I can drop a road to the 4-9, and I elected, instead of building to the 4-9 desert, I chose to build a road between the 5-11. I was going to do 5-6, but I went 5-11 because I can now place a knight up there, and I have some blocking and chasing away. I have some chasing away opportunities on the 5-11 with that knight placement. And if it was on the 4 for whatever reason, I could chase it away if I wanted to get knights bouncing around. So that's why I didn't place it between the 5-6, because I was going to protect the 5 anyways. And I do give the cloth for the sheep, which again is super rare for me to trade commodities like that for just a sheep when sheep is so plentiful. And I probably should ask for 2 from red there instead of just 1, because he has the merch on sheep and is rolling in sheep. But I do that so I can promote my knight with the ore I had, the sheep that I received from red, and then I could use Deserter to get it away, steal a knight from pink. And unfortunately here, you see my turn timer didn't run out, but the game glitched out because the servers are bad, and I'm not going to complain too much because everybody's complained a ton, and I have in the past, but it kicked me out. I didn't even finish my turn timer. I was going to pass the dice right after, but it said I took too long for 3 times, which you saw in this whole video. I didn't take long, not even 1 time. So it glitched down on me again, so the match is going to end. Catan Universe, please fix your deal, because this is getting to a point where I may not want to play on Catan Universe. I may want to switch platforms and just leave you for a long, long while until you fix yourself. So see you later. Thanks for watching. Sorry I couldn't finish the gameplay, but I feel like I have Catan viewers to blame. I know they're working on it. I know they've been working on it for a while, but at this point, I'm just getting to the point where I'm almost done with it. So see you later. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.